Welcome back to Caffeine Confessionals. My name is Allan, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host as we are about to talk about the Challenge USA Episode 6. We have the Virginian Luke Muncie,
What's up, guys?
the Vermontian Zoe Trimboli.
Hi, y'all.
Another episode of the Challenge USA, and again, I'm going to repeat this like I did last week. Thank you to all the new subscribers, new commenters. We've been getting a lot more views, a lot more likes on the channel. It really means a lot to us, and we're here to talk about the Challenge USA again as the wheels are getting moving. The numbers are dwindling. We're down to 9 teams, and now we got to jump right into the episode. Let's talk about that perfect algorithm. The perfect algorithm, Luke.
Spoiler, in case you hadn't realized the past 5 episodes, it's not perfect. You know, they've not gone through all the combinations. I watched, and at first, whenever Angela said, Teach, I've been with Dominic before, I thought, oh, maybe they've gone through all the whatever. And then in my head, I thought, no, put her with Ben and then put Sarah with Dominic. But production clearly wanted Sarah and Ben as a team because it brings a drama aspect, which it really didn't. I get that rationale, but they really shot themselves in the foot by having this perfect, air quotes, algorithm because it's not perfect. And TJ's rationale of, I told you that you wouldn't be the same person until you can't anymore, was still incorrect.
And so we can reference, here are the pairs for this week. David and Justine, Kylan and Cache, Derek and Shannon, Danny and Alyssa, Leo and Kayla, David and Desi, Ben and Sarah, as you mentioned, Tyson and Kira, and Dom and Angela, as you mentioned. And I completely agree with you, Luke. It was like really screwing with my mind because last week someone on Wikipedia put all the partnerships together because they figured it out math-wise. And they had Ben and Angela together, like you were saying. And then Dom and Sarah, and then this week, they're just stirring the pot. That's all it is. It's not perfect. It's perfect when they want it to be perfect.
Just like pick a lane. If you want it to be this algorithm and mathematically it's going to work out, then do it to fidelity. Fake your perfect algorithm and set it all up the way it's supposed to, or don't. Like, then just say it's a random draw every week and have it be that. It was obnoxious. It was a production error and it was obnoxious.
Yeah, I think it was a clear effort to either have Tyson or Ben and Sarah win the daily challenge because, I mean, those are two very strong pairs, Tyson and Kira, Ben and Sarah. And also a way to make sure that Angela didn't win the daily because if Angela wins the daily and throws in like Sarah or Ben, it's a little bit more boring because I think they want Tyson to be a little bit more on the ropes.
Potential for good tension with Ben and Angela winning, though, and them wanting a complete opposite thing to happen. Like, there is potential for that to be good TV. Yeah. I also felt for Angela because you could tell she was not psyched to be with Dom, and he was felt like he finally had what he deserved. Ew.
I went through it last week in my blog. It's like Dom's had Justine, Desi, and Angela, the 3 strongest women in the game so far, and has nothing to show from it. It's like this guy again, this schmuck. Jesus Christ.
He carries himself though as like he's God's gift to the challenge, and I'm like, take a look in the mirror, take a look at the stats, take a look at just everything. You barely won an elimination because you had a good partner.
Yeah, your partner won you that elimination.
Ooh, someone needs to plug that hole in that elimination. Someone needs to plug his mouth up. Let's talk about the aftermath, though, of the new partnerships, of the elimination. We get back to the house, and people are like wondering what's going to happen between Tyson, Ben, and Sarah after all this stuff. Tyson tells everyone, "You have the permission to throw me in. I'm not giving you the permission to throw me in elimination, but if you do it, I'll shake your hand. I'll say it's a good move. I understand it." A good gentleman he is.
I just love that he had everyone's attention too. Like he literally should have been on a soapbox because he had basically the entire house around him, basically waiting for permission to like go speak to anyone else. He's the king of the house.
And I loved his point of, if you're going to be this offended by a game move, you should probably stop playing games because it's a game show. I mean, there have been many other storylines on the season where people talk about like personal relationships or previous shows. These people are here to win money for themselves. They are not here to win money for someone they played Survivor or Big Brother with 5 years ago. They want to win for themselves. And he knows that. They don't.
I love the way Zoe describes it. I'm sorry, because like she really is talking with everyone just around him. I've been binge watching The Marvelous Miss Maisel, and she's a stand-up comedian, and that's what it felt like. It felt like he was a stand-up comedian. It's like, hey guys, if you want to do this, you want to do that, we're all friends here. We're all game players. And then you have Sarah taking people into corners, being like, I'm gonna make him pay. He takes like one person into a corner and just tells them about how she's gonna get her vengeance and how he's salty and blah 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 blah.
Sarah's like the type of person that if she was losing a game of Monopoly, she would flip the board. Like,
Oh,
she's just so miserable and bitter. I know it would be interesting if one of us had a different opinion on this podcast about Sarah, but sorry, you're just not going to get that from me.
you're going to get something from me. I'm going to counter a little bit just because I saw the comments on last week's podcast. Whoa. To be fair, Sarah did have a good social game on Game Changers. I actually did not mind her on that season. She won. She had a great social game. She had a lot of like personal growth where like you saw her through a different lens. I was like, this is great. You cannot deny that she's not come on this season of the Challenge USA with obnoxious confessionals and not that great daily performances. Whatever. I was with a friend or coworker. I guess it was yesterday. I told Zoe about this. Longtime Survivor, Big Brother fan, watching the Challenge USA. And he was like, I love Sarah Lucina. I hope she wins this entire thing. She's like my favorite Survivor player. She's my favorite on the show. I love her confessionals. So I get it. Just because we cannot stand her or anything she stands for, there are people that do. We acknowledge that. She won $1 million somehow. Whatever. But on this podcast, we stand against her. Sorry.
My longtime best friend, his sister, is like, she watches all the Big Brother Challenge stuff, and now she follows me on Twitter, and she likes Sarah too, and I'm just like, I just feel so bad for her because I just go against her the entire. Actually, I don't feel bad at all, because she's kind of weird, and I don't know. She did play a really good social game on Game Changers. I do agree with that, but even after the game, the people were like, yeah, like looking back, it feels disingenuous now, and that's the main thing. So she can play like a good game within a game, but there's just a level of reality that's missing.
Well, and someone commented last week too, whoever it was, here's your credit. Sarah is really good at faking, but it feels like these people on this show just understand like, hey, you're putting up this facade for us. We're maybe not buying into it unless we're cachet.
And who wanted to go cry with her. It's the lack of authenticity for me. Like, I just don't think that Sarah has an authentic bond in her body. I don't trust a word that comes out of her mouth. I think that she's really savvy about how she pretends to, but Cachet bought it, hook, line, and sinker.
Speaking of being really savvy, right after this moment too, we got a clip of Enzo and David, the savviest people in the house, talking about how they're going to run this game and how they were best buddies on Big Brother 22. If you didn't watch or keep up, they were not best buddies. And like, I'm sorry, Enzo, I'll give him a pass because he's older than most of the people here.
Old.
Yeah. David is just like, there's a disconnect. He's like if you had an NPC like actually make it on to like the main storyline of a video game, they wouldn't know what to do. And that seems like him at the beginning of this episode.
David is like skill level 3 out of 10, intelligence 3 out of 10, motivation 10 out of 10.
He's motivated.
Every time he comes on my screen, after he leaves it, I immediately forget he was there. And I was thinking about it during the episode because I'm like, it's hard to get cast on reality TV. Like, it's really hard. What did they see in him exactly? Because every other person, there's like a bit of an X factor. There's a bit of a sparkle. Even Sarah looking like a thumb, like there's something there. But he just has nothing. He's just so flat.
And maybe his audition tape for Big Brother 21 was phenomenal. And once he got actually on camp, living in the Big Brother house, you have to be yourself. I don't know, which he wasn't there long. I don't know.
He was on the other season. He was there for a while.
And he was delusional. And he followed around Tyler, Angela's fiance. It just, yeah.
Hey, sometimes
that's my homework for the week. I'm finding his audition tape to figure out how he got on.
Sometimes the best ability is availability, and that's what David is. He's available. He's like when they have casting out, he's the first email in the box. He replies immediately in the group chat. Like Like, okay, who's bringing a blanket to the cookout? Who's bringing chips? He's like, I got a picnic blanket. I got chips. I'm ready for you guys. And like, that's what he brings to the show. I mean, sometimes these people, they just like, producers like them because they're easy to work with. And I think that's what it comes down to. And like, yeah, David, I mean, he fills that role. But I will say, like, last week I ranked, like, I've been power ranking the players weekly. And he ranked like 6th out of the guys. And I was just shocked because he's actually been competent the last few weeks. And we saw it again this week. He's been competent.
Yeah.
Well, when 3 of the guys still here are Leo, Enzo, and Dom.
Okay, you make a point. You make a great point.
Sometimes you just gotta exist.
That's just the goal, man. You just got to keep existing.
After this, we get to the daily challenge, and players had to jump into the water, climb up a cargo net, get onto a shipping crate, then drop down into another shipping crate that had numbers and patterns inside of it. They had to memorize those, get back on top of the crate, swing across to a platform in the middle, and then once you get to that platform in the middle, you drop back into the water, swim to shore, do the math of those numbers you've then memorized to solve a 4-digit code. Team to do this in the fastest amount of time wins the daily challenge. Did I do a decent job of explaining that?
You did as well as TJ did, because I left that being like, I just need to watch and you see what they do.
Yeah, I agree. And this type of daily challenge, again, as a viewer, it gets so tiring seeing groups of people do the same thing back to back to back to back to back, and there being no contact. I get that it's on CBS to an extent, but we spoke before starting this recording, like this episode was not like the best. And I feel like this has a big part of it. This is a big part of it because the daily kind of sucked.
So I love this show, and I love that it's getting the chance to have a platform on CBS. I think that's super exciting. I think that we are fumbling the bag here by not showing some of the fun challenges. Like, let the game go individual at this point. We don't need it to be in partners. Like, can we please just let these people actually have to think about each other during the challenge? When it's just one timed event after another, or if it's just another race or whatever, it's just so boring to watch. And I think this cast, for the most part, is great, but I'm losing interest midway through the episode because I'm like, oh, I've seen some version of this challenge 5 times already this season.
Mm-hmm.
It can be simple games too. It doesn't have to be as convoluted all the time as well. And it's just I don't know. It really is getting overbearing, even to the point where they're cutting out people competing in the challenges because they're like, this is just too much. One of the first teams to go was Dom and Angela, and Angela kills it. Dom is much slower than her, but as he's talking, he's all like, yeah, this is our game. This is our challenge. I'm a math person, as Angela's doing a lot of math herself. I'm just so frustrated because she's clearly outpacing him. She clearly can do the math herself, but he's like, this is my challenge.
She pulled him up onto that platform. She literally physically pulled him up.
And you can't tell me that they didn't contact other men from Survivor, and that others didn't say yes, and that others did not fit the type of show that the challenge is better than he did.
Just imagine Wendell in his place. What an upgrade that would be.
Mm-hmm. Although I'm not sure if you know who the alternate was from Survivor. It was Mike Holloway, so not much difference as far as
There's just so many options. How is that all that there was? It doesn't even make sense.
Cole from whatever season Cole was on.
Yeah.
But he's so fit. Bring him on. He's campaigned to do the main show.
What was
Give him a shot.
Michael Yerger? Is that
the OnlyFans one? I think he's making too much money on OnlyFans.
No, he's not.
Oh,
well,
is he not?
Sure he is. I'm sure he is. But he tweeted just recently because someone sent in a group message that I'm in that he's like, I would still be down to do another show. I just don't get asked. Maybe because people make that assumption. But
just
yeah.
Regardless, Angela killed it. Dom, whatever.
He was there.
Good for him.
Ben and Sarah go. Sarah messes up her math. Love to see it.
You know, I've not minded Ben at all this season. And I can understand why he would be wary of Tyson, even though I really like Tyson. So I'm not even mad that last week he kind of was nervous about that because it was proven to him that Tyson's not that trustworthy to their alliance. I'm fine with that. But whenever I noticed, or whenever they showed us that someone had messed up, I was like, please don't be Ben, because I knew that Sarah would lash out at him. But when it was her, she was just like, oh, whatever, let's move past this, which is just expected from her.
She would not extend anyone any sort of grace in that scenario. Not a chance.
And Derek,
go for it. I was just say Derek X didn't know a Catwoman, and there was like a limited amount, and she went off about how he should be smarter than this, and this is something he should know, and please don't touch me. But she messes up by missing a huge symbol on something she's standing on, and oops, mistake.
And we say it every week. Sarah, no top 3 finishes still. 6 weeks in, no top 3. Ben had been top 3 4 weeks in a row prior to this point.
Allan, I'm about to lose a subscriber. I'm so sorry. Someone also commented that Sarah is a top 5 Survivor player. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
There is no way your rationale and who the top 5 is, and I will discredit that. She's not top 5. She's a winner. She deserved it. That's great. But back to what Allan said. She's not even been top 3 daily competitor on this show. Yeah. And she's still running her mouth. I'm sorry. Like, what?
I get it completely. We then see Cache, Kylan, Alyssa, Danny, Shan, Derek all go. They're cut a bit short, though, like in what we see. Cache and Kylan get it done. Danny and Alyssa apparently kill it, but we don't see it. Alyssa, every week, she does at least average to above average. Good for her.
And I want to chime in. I love the moment from Cache where like Colin's like, you want me to throw you in? And she's like, please don't touch me ever. And as soon as they finish, she jumps onto him and touches him. And then, yeah, we only got to see that brief moment of Alyssa and Danny, but he still got into Kiki mentions.
One of them was real long too. It was like a confessional that went about 5 seconds too long.
They in somewhere.
Jamaica and cliff jumping, and I was like, okay, move on.
I like it on stream, but you can tell the editors are like, Danny, come on, chop this down a bit. Yeah. And then Shannon, she announces when she hits the bottom of the freight that she pulled her hamstring, or she hurt her hamstring, which everyone is like, oh boy, you're not supposed to say that, even if you did.
And I get it. I feel like she's a very real person who was just like, damn, like that sucks. Forgetting there's an entire audience whose main goal was to get someone out that week. Ugh. And the way she landed on that net, I'm surprised she didn't get more injured.
I will say Ben and Sarah both hit the net really hard themselves, but because it was Sarah, I was like kind of laughed a little bit. But Shannon was like, oh no, Shannon. We then see Tyson and Kira go, and before the daily challenge even starts, Kira's like, I am so deathly sick. And it was very abundantly clear because last 5 weeks, we've seen Kira kill daily challenge after daily challenge with bad partners. The week she gets Tyson, her body fails on her, and it's devastating because she couldn't even make the rope, the jump from the crate to the platform in the middle, and it was really heartbreaking to see a good competitor fall off like that when it was like their best opportunity all season to win a daily challenge.
And she literally fell off. That fall was drastic.
Yeah, I felt for her. You could see Kira has proven she can compete. So obviously she's not faking, but she had that like glassy-eyed, like sick person look throughout the whole episode. And I was just like, no, not Kira, not now.
Yeah, and I'm not even doubting that she was sick because clearly she is. We see later in the episode she is vomiting. But I'm sure like feeling sick and then having that pressure of who's won the most dailies makes you feel even weaker in a way because you're not going to be at your top performance. I felt for her.
He was such a good partner, so patient with her, like really trying to help her get over to that platform. And he easily could have been pissed that she didn't want to climb back up and try again, but he didn't appear that way. And maybe CBS is giving him a friendly edit, but he seemed like he was ready to deal with whatever was presented to him.
He gets that it's a game.
Yeah, and I think Tyson is like us. Like, he's seen Kira perform in the previous weeks. He knew, like, if she did that, something has to be very clearly wrong because she's one of the best females in this game physically. We then see... Did we want more players go? Let's see. Oh, I mean, we have the winners, of course. But, all right. Let's talk about the winners.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The shock of it all, Mr. 3 out of 10, 3 out of 10, and 10 out of 10, David wins with
A 10
Desi.
out of 10 came through today.
Yeah. I will say I was happy for him, and I think I saw Allan tweet this, that like it's kind of crazy to think that only 2 men have won dailies this entire season, and now David's the third. Like that's a fun little credit to his name.
Tyson, Kylan, David, the big three of the Challenge USA.
And I was happy for Desi too. I absolutely love Desi. She just radiates like positivity and joy, but like also athleticism and gameplay and just like great lady.
She's ethereal. She's just so beautiful and magnetic. I was so happy they won. Not because obviously we know how I feel about David. I don't give a shit. But having Desi on my screen more, I was like, yeah, it's about damn time. I need some Desi.
Well, and to be fair, like as much as it has been fun to see, almost a steamroll of the winners of the dailies, it's nice to see someone new. If we would have had Angela and Dom win, I would have been like, okay, whatever. I could have handled Tyson and Kira just because I wanted Kira to win, but she was sick. This was a good alternative.
Yeah, I mean, David finished, I want to say, like, he did actually finish top 3 in the swim with Alyssa last week, and then this week he gets the win. I don't think he's a good player. I don't think he's a great player, but he was competent these past weeks, and maybe he's a 4 out of 10 and a 5 out of 10. I don't know.
I do want to briefly talk about one other team that we didn't discuss before we move on from this. We had Leo and Kayla, Amazing Grace, whatever. Leo, obviously, I feel for him because he's getting the worst edit on this entire show, I think. He's not helping himself with his Big Brother-esque confessionals. They're very cheesy, but I almost feel like production's like hyping him up to do this because I feel like on Amazing Grace, I'll ask the expert in a second, I feel like he was really well respected and a great competitor. And like, now we're getting edits of him being too scared to jump off of a dock. And like, I don't know. I feel like he's just got the dumbass edit.
Well, then don't act like a dumbass, Luke.
I get it, but
Like, you can only call yourself a cat so many times before, like, we all have a relatively decent idea of what's going on in the world around us. He's been on reality TV. If the producers keep, like, egging you on and trying to get you to talk about cats or trying to, like, feed you these lines, you have to know what they're going to do with them.
Yeah, but he's also rich, so I guess he can do whatever he wants to.
When I watch him, I see a smart, rich kid who, like, never really had to deal with certain problems because like they could just pay their way out of problems, but they like to be competitive and stuff like that. That dude lives in his own world. He's not like any other player. I do think he's smart and a dumbass at the same time, and he goes to the beat of his own drum, and he can because he's rich. He gets to live in his, like, this is just a vacation for him. On The Amazing Race, he was known for being very competitive, very like vindictive.
Thank you, expert. I knew you would know.
I've been getting a lot of messages about him lately. But he's a weird dude. Him and Kayla were able to complete the challenge. And good for them. They didn't come in last. That was their goal. The team that did come in last, though, was Enzo and Justine, because Enzo refused to take the jump off the freight from the platform. He was too afraid.
I cannot stand him. Like, Big Brother 22, he sucked. Like, literally a waste of a spot for an all-star season. I mean, so was David. Let's be very clear about that. But you can't even attempt to swing. Like, if you fall and miss, so be it. You can't even attempt. You're wearing a life jacket. You're not that high above the water. You've fallen from higher this season. He sucks.
Yeah, it's just a waste of a spot. This 57-year-old Jersey Italian with his stupid hats is taking up the space. Honestly, I'm going to say something that's even going to shock myself, and I hate myself for it already, so bear with me. I'd rather see Polly in his place.
Wow. That is a revelation.
That's how much it's so frustrating to have people that, like, you just know can't win and are just dragging people down.
Well, to kind of spin off that, like, Polly wouldn't have been eligible simply because he's been on the MTV show. His brother, who I think is equally unlikable in some aspects, bring him on. I can't imagine he'd say no.
Just like there's so many options. There's so many people who have been on Big Brother, like younger, fitter guys. Don't say the term doo-doo pies. He did say it again in this episode, and I'm sorry I said it again now. But it's just like there's so many options.
I do hope if there are future future seasons of the CBS that specifically for Big Brother, they go back more than just Big Brother 22. I know that David's from 21. Well, I guess they did with Angela, but like she was like a one-off. We had 6 people from 23. Like spice it up a little bit. And don't give us people like Enzo.
Yeah, what's tough is we've gotten a lot of the best people from the main show or on the main show already.
That's true.
Like I always think, like I really do think, like man, Fessy and Polly and even Swaggy C would be like dominating against a lot of these people. Like that's how people like Enzo are able to get to final 8 by just existing. And David, like they're just like we're halfway through.
Well, and Allan and I were deeming the other day, even Josh Martinez would do pretty damn good on the Challenge CBS.
He'd be up there in this power ranking system right now.
Yeah.
1000%. I mean, like someone tried to make fun of Dom. I made fun of Dom on a tweet, and people were like, he thinks he's the CT when he's the Josh. And then people started replying like, no, Josh is just better than Dom, and I fully agree at this point.
Yeah, 100%. I have no qualm saying that whatsoever.
Ooh. And I just feel so bad for Justine because once again, she's just up there looking stunning as a partner, just lets her down.
I will say though, I would have liked to have seen her try to make it to the platform. I love her to death. She's still
She did try once. Remember, she had to get herself back up onto the thing because she like got there with her leg, and then she couldn't get all the way up.
I missed that, but thank you.
Yeah, so that's everybody started yelling at Enzo. Enzo, you have to go so you can help
her up. Gotcha.
Like it was a miracle that she got back up onto the shipping container without falling.
That was maybe the most impressive thing all episode.
True.
Coming out of the daily challenge, Danny and Desi have a decision to make. David and Desi have a decision to make, and David really wants to make a big play. He understands, like he understands very clearly that he's not a top player and that he's very like not interesting. So he has to make a play in order to be interesting and to further his game because he's not beating any of the top people in a final. Desi, she's like, no, I'm not throwing in Tyson. I don't need that smoke in my life. I don't need any target. And also, I'm Desi. I can beat anyone in this game.
Well, and also, she's not had Tyson as a partner yet, has she?
Nope. She hasn't had him, hasn't had Kylan yet. And she's like, look, I need those guys as partners. I can beat anyone on my own. I don't need to make a big play. I am the big play.
Yeah. And, she immediately throws out to David, like, I honestly think that Derek X and Shannon, yada, yada, yada. And David just is like, yep. And I'm like, he's Big Brother. Like, you could have totally said The Amazing Race.
I don't know why he didn't make a stronger play for Kayla and Leo. That didn't make sense. I mean, granted, Leo is another guy that's lower on the totem pole than him. So if you're looking at it that way, most girls don't want to be partnered with Leo. If Leo hangs around, that's another elimination you can skate through. Yeah,
he's a shield, I guess. We even had a moment where we have Sarah saying to Kayla, like, hey, Tyson, sorry, I lost track. She said, hey, Tyson's wanting you and Leo to go in, which could have been true, but we as viewers didn't see it. So, like, I feel like that was like misconstrued by editing. If you don't have a clip to back that up, don't give us that, especially since they didn't go in.
She was either lying or was bad editing.
Yeah, and to that point, last week we saw Kayla so like gung-ho with Tyson, and this week it was like, ooh, he's the enemy. And again, this could fall to editing, or it could just be she feels scorned because Leo got thrown in. It could have been because she's just Leo's partner this episode, but I don't know.
Is she just playing a really good strategic game and she's banking on the fact that Sarah and Tyson are not going to communicate with each other, and she's being very strategic about who she's speaking to and when?
It's probably very true. And more power to her. I think she's a smart lady.
I like Kayla.
I like Kayla a lot too. We do see some scrambling. Derek X and Shannon realize they could be going into elimination. And so Derek's like, Hey, how about we just start working out to make people think you're not hurt? And I actually like the initiative.
I thought it was great. Like, and Shannon's attitude about it all is just so funny. Like, she's a good personality out on the show. Obviously, not the most athletic at all, but funny as shit.
I wish, because of personalities like Shannon, they were in a normal challenge house with a pool and they could be tanning and they could be drinking. Like, I think that's an element that's missing from this that would give the episodes a little bit of life.
Fun fact that's probably not confirmed, but whatever. Shannon was asked for season 38 of the challenge and declined. She said she hated her experience on the challenge CBS. But they also lived in a weird bunker, like Total Madness. So I get it.
Yeah. They had an empty hot tub.
Yeah.
I hope it's been filled since then, but like, come on.
Right. Me too.
We get to see a Tyson where he talks about like, well, if Desi and David like put me in, I'm gonna win, and from there, I'll just work my game to throw them in. Am I that petty? Yes. And I just love his honesty, and I love the character he is.
Yeah, me too. He's been so consistently just Tyson this entire season.
It's that authenticity piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can be, to some people, a cocky asshole, but like, he is who he is through and through, and it doesn't change. And so, as a viewer, at least in my case, that is so much easier and so much more like attractive in a reality TV personality. Not like attractive in terms of like physical attraction, but just like that is the kind of person I want on my television. I want an authentic personality.
And to the person that's typing right now, but Sarah's cocky too and authentic.
She's not authentic.
Sarah's not won anything this entire season. So anyways.
And she's not authentic. I'm sorry. Like, you can say she's XYZ, but she is not authentic. She's not. Argue with your mother. Don't argue with me.
Now we get to the elimination arena. Seamless transition. And the vote is Derek and Shannon, like we've all been expecting. The elimination. Oh, it's idiotic. It is players have to race a bunch of tires from some poles over to an area where they have to stack them up all together in a pile in a designated area. But before they do, they have to spell words backwards. And if you incorrectly spell a word backward, then you have to do 5 more tires than the other team, or 5 less, something like that.
What the hell?
I love how TJ like did this whole fake out, like, oh, you didn't think we were just gonna let you like run tires back and forth, like it was gonna actually be a plot twist, and it's like, oh no, you just have to spell one word backwards, and Justine's gonna get the only word that's even a little bit tricky.
I thought they were gonna be blindfolded or like shackled together or like attached to a bungee cord that had so much tension.
At a puzzle, like, I don't know, something. It was so stupid.
Or even just stack the tires to where there's like a bell somewhere up high and you have to climb it, and then, yeah.
It was so stupid.
Beforehand, like, just do something. Ugh. They totally faked us out by starting with Not So Fast, because that's such a good elimination, by starting off the season that way, and then it's just gone.
Well, it was like, oh my god, well, they're definitely gonna do Hall Brawl then. No, we're not getting Hall Brawl.
We're getting with Hall Brawl in it at the beginning of the season, wasn't it in the trailer?
Maybe it's closer to the end. I'm not sure, but I feel like you are right. And okay, wait a second. We also do have previews of like pole wrestle. Yeah, so those are coming. Those are coming. Don't lose hope yet.
Where are they at though? And like, can we just make it a little dirty? Like, can we mess things up a little bit? Like, Challenge All Stars has had good eliminations. There's like they're there. Just
you can make them fun. You can make them fun too. Like I for one, like, I love blind stick fighting. I think it's hilarious every time. I think I posted on Twitter last week the Adam and Brittany elimination where they're eating brownies. One of the funniest eliminations I've ever watched.
Especially because Adam and Brittany were like having a meltdown about it.
You can make them fun. Like, eliminations are like the best part of the what bring me in, because sometimes like I'll watch an episode and I'll be so disconnected, and then a good elimination will have me so hyped after. And this is such a way to buy in new fans. When I show people what the challenge is, when I show my friends, when I talk about it, I show them the video of CT and Bananas. I show them Hall Brawls. I show them like those eliminations that like draw new viewers in, and you want to draw new viewers into this show because all these CBS viewers are here for the first time. Give them something they want to watch. We don't want to watch people do cardio.
Agree. And backward spelling.
It was so mind-numbingly stupid.
Enzo and Justine have to stack 5 more towers than their opponents. Despite this, they pull off the win because they're just in much better shape and they had a much better strategy.
They didn't stack their tires like idiots, basically.
Yeah. So anticlimactic.
And I felt bad for Derek because like they lost that elimination. Like I wouldn't even say Enzo and Justine like took it and won it. Shannon and Derek lost it by just not doing it in an intelligent way.
Yeah.
Derek was coming off a really good week last week too, where he finished top 2 in a challenge, and now he's out. But he lost it. It's his fault. And I think he had a pretty unremarkable season.
Everyone's having an unremarkable season except for Tyson and sort of Kyland.
Yeah. And since Derek is leaving, true. Since Derek is leaving, I do have to laugh because a couple episodes ago we had him and Alyssa talking about how much of a non-factor David is. And then David wins, sends him in, he goes home.
Luke, I completely forgot about. I think you're the only person in the world who found that editor's choice. I completely forgot about that. Jesus Christ.
Over a cup of noodles. No one does it like Nani.
That's
No one
absolutely.
does it like Nani. Ooh. And then Shannon. I agree with Luke. Great personality. Just so, or both of you, such a fun personality. But after week 1, she really fell off. She wasn't on our TV the last 4 weeks, and then she was back this week. And I got reminded why I like her. But then she doesn't really do much. Lose the elimination.
Shannon was initially an alt for this, and I'm glad she was added. I'm not sure who was taken off, and I probably wouldn't say if I did know. But I do know that her boyfriend at the time, who she's since split with, but they seem to still be friends, Josh, was supposed to come on as well. I really wish they had put him on because that could have brought such a fun, different dynamic to have a couple in the house, especially that's young and he's in great shape. But maybe she wouldn't have shined as great if she was with him. I don't know, but I want to see her back in some capacity.
I think for Shannon and Derek also, the formats of these challenges have prevented people from having storylines. It's just another reason to like, I hope that if they do, when they do the global version of this, that they pull from their arsenal some different things and they don't make it all just like stay in your lane. Also, I'm just thinking about as a cast member, how boring and long of a day that has to be waiting for everyone to take their turn. Ugh.
Yeah.
But just please switch it up, please.
Well, and I wish too that like since they're having these things, it's obviously production randomly choosing it. Have the person who won the elimination choose the order. That provides another layer of like, ooh, here's who they support, here's who they don't like. But it's just kind of boring.
That's it. Okay. I think we're done recapping the episode, but I actually do have something fun here.
Okay.
Challenge All-Stars 4.
Okay.
The gauntlet format. People who have done 2 seasons or less against a veteran team. So you could put your West, your Durrells, your Bananas, your Laurels, whatever. That is the veteran team.
Yeah.
Here's our rookie team I have.
Okay.
Noor from Fresh Meat 2.
Oh, great.
CJ from Cancun.
Deserves another go. Yeah.
Marlon from Real World Portland.
Interesting.
Adam from Are You the One?
Okay.
Tyson Apostle.
Down for that.
Yeah. What else do you say?
Hayden Voss from Big Brother / Survivor.
Would be a great casting choice.
Heather Cook.
Oh.
Love.
Avery Tressler.
Underrated.
Yes.
Faith Stowers.
As long as she doesn't quit this time. I love her, but yeah.
Davon Rogers. Parvati Shallow.
Ooh. So good.
Janelle Perzina.
Would bring in
Yeah.
viewers,
We'll
but
bring in
don't know how
viewers.
she'd do.
I'm just thinking we're going big names.
Yeah.
And we're talking all-stars here. And now that we have the CBS people who are debuting on USA, why not just bring in some OG reality all-stars for the Gauntlet 4 type format? Because I think the big problem people are having with all-stars right now is that we're seeing the same names over again, kind of like on the main show. And the best part of that first season was the people we hadn't seen in a while. And there's a lot of people out there who deserve another shot. And then you also bring in some CBS folks that people want to see compete on the show forever. You give them a good paycheck. How would you like to see that?
Would love it. And I agree with you. Like, I have people that I love on the main show that have done 8 seasons in a row, and I love them. But I can still acknowledge it's time for them to take a break. It's time for me as a viewer to have somebody else to root for and to not see the same season play out time after time after time. And All-Stars 1, 2, and 3, I think, are all great pieces of television. But if we have an All-Stars 4th, 50% of the same cast, it's going to be boring. We know who's aligned. We know what's going to happen.
And I think, like, that old school vibe, let's go back to a 2-team format. Let's incorporate a format we've seen before, but also, like, let's do what we've done before, but give it a fresh splash. And I just gotta say, I just want to find a way to get Tyson against the main guys. Honestly, like this was the whole point of the exercise. I want Tyson and Parvati on the challenge season.
He's hinting at it hard. Like, he's tweeted about Wes. He's tweeted about CT. He met up with Derek. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be amazing, honestly.
He's tweeted at Mark Long even too. Paramount would make that exception. I know they would.
Like I said, he's an all-star. Period. I don't care if this is the only season he's done. He has qualified himself as an all-star.
He just needs to avoid Hall Brawl.
For sure.
That's our episode for the week. This was Caffeine Confessionals. Make sure to like the YouTube video if you haven't already. You're 42 minutes in. Might as well do it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Follow at CF Confessionals on Twitter. Follow Zoe on Twitter at Zoe Trimbo. Follow Luke on Twitter at Final Reckoning. The I's are L's. Follow me on Twitter at the Allan Aguirre. Have a great day overall, man. And make sure to watch next week.
Bye.